Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to the Tisch WNET studio here in the heart of Lincoln Center, Manhattan. It is my pleasure now to introduce the busiest director here on Broadway. He is Scott Ellis, director, 6-time Tony Award nominee, associate director, artistic director, I'll get it out, Roundabout Theater. Let me get this straight. You are, you got the Elephant Man going.
Coming. Next. Yes.
You just
Next.
tell me what you got going.
You Can't Take It With You.
You Can't Take It With You.
Just open.
Go
on
ahead.
Broadway. The Elephant Man with Bradley Cooper. And
Oh,
then,
stop dropping names.
I'm just going to drop that. I'm going to drop one more name, Kristen Chenoweth, with the musical on the 20th century with Peter Gallagher. Yeah.
And what, do you have anything going on at home?
I only have 2 kids, and they're twins, and they're 4.5 years old. So that's what I do.
So
That's
you're
my
under.
job. Oh, man.
How great is that?
Oh, man.
Could your
They're
kids
my
be
kids.
cuter?
They're my kids. Parker and Charlotte. They're my kids.
That's awesome.
You know, and by the way, I had them by myself, single guy, and was still doing theater, and thought I want to have kids. And I went through a surrogate, and I had 2 kids. And by the way, I only told the doctor no twins. That's all I said.
That's all you
That's all I said. And then I realized that's the last time I'm going to be able to direct my kids in my life, because that was it. And by the way, of course, best thing ever happened. And then 8 months later, I met my partner, who actually came into my life. So that's it. And that's my partner. The day we got engaged.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
You're living a good life.
Good life. Good life. Yeah.
Tell me about some of these plays. Break them down for us.
You know what? You Can't Take It With You. Kaufman and Hart play was done in 1936. It's had a couple revivals. No major revival for 30 years. And it's with James Earl Jones and Rose
Comedy?
Byrne. Comedy, big comedy. Kaufman and Hart. But you know what? And we just opened, and I think you're supposed to say it got great reviews, but I'm going to tell you it got great reviews.
Talk to us.
It just got great reviews.
The reviews matter a lot.
You know, sadly, here's the good news. The good news, it's less and less, but they're still very important. And the New York Times, that's really important.
Still.
Okay,
okay, digital, web, internet.
all helpful, all great, and all ways to find different ways to get an audience in to see your show, which is ultimately what you're trying to do. But you know what? If you get the New York Times a rave, it's easier. If you don't, it's a tougher hill to climb.
Who's in this?
James Earl Jones.
I'm sorry, who?
James Earl Jones. That was one more name I dropped.
How cool is that?
Yeah, Christine Nielsen, who's also brilliantly great. And James Earl Jones, by the way, never did a comedy. First comedy he's ever done.
Is that right?
Yeah, first comedy. Yeah. So he sort of had to learn how to write a joke and how to breathe and how to relax. With comedy, it's just very different. They always say comedy is hard, and that is absolutely the truth.
And for you directing him, by the way, Elizabeth Ashley
Elizabeth
as well?
Ashley, who you're going to be seeing later on.
We actually, yeah.
Yeah, you booked her on.
Let me ask you, for you, later today she's coming into our terrific Lincoln Center studio. For you directing giants like this.
Yes, yeah.
What's it like?
You know what? I find most really good actors, there's just no difference. You're just talking to an actor. I mean, James said to me one of the first days, he said, even though if you want to give me a line reading, do so. And I thought, all right, I'll give James Earl Jones a line reading, just so I can say I gave James Earl Jones a line reading.
Awesome.
So, but those people, you find the ones that are really talented, open and collaborative and just great. And I can't go on thinking, oh God, it's James Earl Jones. He's just an actor who's doing this role, and we've got to figure out how we're going to do it.
Elephant Man.
Elephant Man, Bradley Cooper. And Bradley and I are friends, and we did a show up at Williamstown Theater Festival several years ago, and we kept saying, you know, he's not attractive, though.
He's not.
And by the way, I thought that was me. I thought
you
that
thought it was
me.
you?
I thought it was me. I thought, why are you putting another picture of me up there? You know, but
if
look,
he were better looking, could he have a better career?
I possibly know. He's actually
terrific,
truly
isn't
one
he?
of the most talented people I've ever worked with. So we just started talking about things that we wanted to do, and he said, I'd love to do The Elephant Man. And I was like, I'm not sure if that would be my first choice. And yet once I talked to him, you saw what passion he had and the connection he had with this John Merrick, this character that he'll be playing. So we went up to Williamstown, had a great time, and at the end of it, we just looked at each other and said, we're not done with this yet. So we said, let's bring it into New York. So we're doing that.
And the last one.
On the 20th Century, a musical with Kristen Chenoweth. On the 20th Century, very, very famous musical that was done 30 years ago.
Kristen Chenoweth, why do I say West Wing? I'm dating myself.
Because You
awesome
are
in that.
dating yourself.
But she was
She's
great
done,
in that.
Well, she's done other things.
I know, but she's
You know.
tell some other great things she's done.
Now you're putting me on the hot seat?
She's done great
Seriously?
things here on Broadway. Yeah,
Yes,
a lot of
yes.
things on Broadway.
Oh my God, well, Wicked.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right,
Thank you.
That was her big thing. By the way, I gave her first Broadway show.
You did?
Steel Pier, Candor and Ebb show.
What
Steel
did you
Pier.
see in her?
What did I see in her? You know what? Good question. She came in.
I'm sorry. At least there's one in the interview. Go ahead.
There's one good question so far. Okay, you're doing okay. But you showed a really attractive picture of me up on the screen, so it doesn't matter. She came in, tiny little thing, you know, tiny. I don't want tiny little thing. But she had this voice, as everyone knows, it was just phenomenal. But she had this quirkiness about her, just this whole thing of she sort of knows who she is. She knows where the comedy is, and you thought, and it's really not. You know, saying, "Oh, I knew it then." You pretend you did, but it was hard not to look at that and go, "That is so unique and so different and such a star quality." So, yeah, sometimes she gives me credit for it. Most of the time, she gives me.
And
credit.
she was great in The West Wing. But let me ask you, the Roundabout Theater. What makes it so interesting?
I think the Roundabout Theater is incredible because the diversity it has with its spaces and with what it does. They have 4 spaces. They do new plays. They just opened Tom Stoppard's Indian Ink 2 nights ago. That's fabulous. They're doing His Real Thing on Broadway. They do musicals. They have cabaret running. I mean, it's just, and I think the thing that I'm most proud of Roundabout is they have a thing called the Black Box. And Black Box Theater, 99 seats. It never makes money, but it's all about new writers and new directors and giving them a sense of a home to begin their career. And that is what's, I think, the best part about it.
Curious about this one. When did you know that theater, that the role you play in theater would be your professional life?
I was an actor for most of my life. I was fortunate that my parents were like, go, do what you want. My dad, who was a conservative Republican, was
In Virginia?
In Virginia. The way you say that, though, Virginia, it's a little, you know.
Well, I'm from New Jersey. I can say Virginia like that.
You can, if you want to.
Go ahead.
We'll deal with it later on. But yes.
What, are you threatening me?
I'm sort of threatening you right now. We'll deal
I'm
with
from
it
New
out
Jersey.
on the
Don't
street.
threaten me.
Don't threaten anyone.
Go ahead. You're from Virginia.
So
Go ahead.
from Virginia.
You were a conservative. Oh, I'm sorry. Your
My father
was a
was, not
conservative.
me.
Yeah, go ahead.
So he encouraged me to do that. And then I came to New York after I went to school in Chicago. I was in a Candor and Ebb show called The Rink with Liza Minnelli and Cheetah Rivera. I was one of and I approached Candor and Ebb.
Well, you were just a big name dropper.
I just love dropping the names.
And I knew Liza. You were
Liza, I'm going to go see her after this anyway. If you want to come with us and have a drink.
You were just going to hang with Liza Minnelli after this?
You know, we're just going to have a drink.
What a letdown after this. But go ahead.
Oh my God. Are you
I'm
kidding
joking.
Me? No. You, not for me. Yes, of course, a letdown. It's like I should have started with that.
I'm
anyway,
sorry.
so then I approached Candor and Ebb about doing a show called Floor the Red Menace, which was their first show. They gave me the rights. Susan Stroman, great director, choreographer, the 2 of us went down, we did it, and it was a success. And that's what started my directing career. And I sort of had to make a decision right then. Do I continue acting or do I continue directing? And to be really honest, I loved being on the other side of the table and being able to collaborate and not have my career in someone else's hand. I got to make the calls, and I got to pick the people I wanted to work with. And that I thought, I like this. So I stayed behind the table.
Love what you do.
Love what I do. You Can't Take It With You has this wonderful line that basically says you can't take it with you. You can't take the money. You can't. We only have this amount of time, and so few people are lucky enough to do what they love to do, what they always dreamt of. This is what I dreamt of since I was a little kid. And the fact that I get to get up every morning and do exactly what I do and love what I do, I'm in pretty good shape.
You just said what I was going to say.
Because, by the way, you're no longer doing this show. I'm taking over. I've been interviewing you, and we thank you for everything you've done. You're really good. It's time to move on. And now me, and that's why Liza's outside.
Let me tell you, this is how Neil Shapiro, our boss, gets me fired. He gives you the directive to get rid of me.
Director. Absolutely, this is how it works.
He delegated.
Absolutely how it works.
Scott Ellis, most busiest man on Broadway, had the time to fire me. I'm not sure how it happened, but listen, thank you so much. Wish you nothing but the best.
Real pleasure. Thank you.
I can't believe they pay me for this. Do they? Listen, be right back right after this. Thanks. You're great.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Hackensack University Health Network, the Russell Berry Foundation, the New Jersey Education Association, MD Advantage, activists in cooperation with the American Medicine Chest Challenge, TD Bank, and by PSE&G. Promotional support provided by Commerce Magazine and by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.